Ladies and gentlemen, the most fundamental rule in every level of basketball, often misunderstood by players, coaches, and yes, even officials alike. Today, this training series is all about guarding. The gospel of guarding can be found in Rule 423 for NFHS, 4.17 for NCAA men, and 10.4 for NCAA women. The rule reads almost identical on every level. Guarding is simply placing your body as a defensive player in the path of an offensive opponent. There is no minimal distance required between the guard and the opponent. That pretty much means I can pretty much, as a defensive player, be breathing on the opponent from 6 inches to 1 foot away. I can be guarding an opponent from 60 feet away. Every player is entitled to a spot on the playing court, provided that such player gets there first without illegally contacting an opponent. A player who extends an arm, shoulder, hip, or leg into the path of an opponent is not to be considered to have a legal position if contact occurs. In Article 2, the word says, to obtain an initial legal guarding position, the guard shall have both feet touching the playing court, and the front of the guard's torso shall be facing the opponent. Please add the word inbounds to Article A, where it says both feet shall be touching the playing court, inbounds. And notice in Article B, it says the guard's torso shall face the opponent, not necessarily the guard's face shall be facing the opponent. So simply put, if my torso is facing an offensive player from any distance on the basketball court and I have 2 feet inbounds, I have obtained LGP or legal guarding position. So after we have obtained legal guarding position, here are all the things that the guard, can do. I can have one or both feet on the playing court inbounds, or I can be airborne, provided that I have inbound status. I am not required to continue to face the opponent. I may move laterally, which is west and east, if you want to think about it that way, or obliquely. Obliquely is like in a smile kind of formation, if you will, or even backwards, provided that it is not towards the opponent when contact occurs. I can raise my hands or jump within my own vertical plane. I may even turn or duck to absorb the shock of imminent contact. You know what you don't see in any of those conditions? The word set, still, or stationary. So if you're a basketball official, the word set, still, and stationary should not be in your vernacular when providing explanations of this rule of obtaining and maintaining legal guard position. The last part of this rule dives into the three types of opponents that can be guarded. You have the opponent with the ball, you have the stationary opponent without the ball, and you have a moving opponent. Notice that with an opponent with the ball, which is the ball handler dribbler, or a stationary opponent without the ball, you as the guard are not required to have any time or distance to obtain a legal guarding position. And if the opponent with the ball is airborne, I as the guard shall have attained legal guarding position before my opponent leaves the floor. At the time of this particular training presentation, that is especially important in NCAA men. We won't get into it in this training presentation, but we will get into it in the future down the road. If I am guarding someone that is moving and does not have the basketball, time and distance are required to obtain a legal guarding position. I have to give the opponent time and or distance to avoid contact, and the distance need not be more than 2 strides, or think 2 steps, if you will. And again, if the opponent is airborne, I must have obtained legal guard position before my opponent leaves the floor. So to summarize this, after I obtain legal guarding position, I can maintain it by moving. I don't have to be set still or stationary. I can also jump in my vertical plane to contest. Only thing I cannot do is cause illegal contact. And we can guard three types of people: the ball handler dribbler, the person with the basketball, a stationary opponent without the ball, and a moving opponent. Time and distance are not required for ball handler dribblers or stationary opponents without the ball, while time and distance is required for opponents without the basketball that are moving. We know that we can jump in our own vertical plane and still maintain legal guarding position. But to really understand that, we must understand verticality. And the word says that verticality can be found in 4-45 of the NFHS rulebook, 4.39 in the NCAA men's rulebook, and 10.3 in the NCAA women's rulebook. Just like guarding, they all read the same. Verticality, you first must be legal, as you can see in Article 1. Legal guarding position shall be obtained initially, and movement thereafter shall be legal. So here's all the things you can do to be vertical and legal. You may rise or jump vertically and occupy the space within the defender's vertical plane, which means you can start on a spot on the court called A. You can jump infinitely to the ceiling and return to the same spot that you originally left from, A. We call it going from A to A. You may raise your hands and arms within your own vertical plane while on the floor or in the air. You are not penalized for leaving the floor vertically or having your hands and arms extended within your vertical plane. The offensive player, whether on the floor or airborne, may not clear you out or cause contact within your vertical plane. That is a foul. You, as a defender, may not belly up or use the lower part of your body or arms to cause contact outside of your vertical plane. That is also a foul. And the player with the basketball, the ball handler dribbler, is to be given no more protection or consideration than the defender in judging which player has violated the rule. So, simply put, if you are a legal guard and defender and you jump to contest or to guard, you are entitled to take off from your spot A on the floor, which you are entitled to by rule. Jump as high as you can jump and return to that spot A, which is your spot. That is legal in all rule sets, and you may not be displaced off that spot, or somebody may not occupy that spot as you return to the floor. For our viewers on YouTube, do you understand this rule? You may not understand it, but soon you will. We have a multitude of videos that takes this rule and applies it expertly. Enjoy.